Hello everyone and welcome back to our widget designer video series. In this video we'll be looking at adding animations to our custom buttons we made in the last video. So let's get started. So last time we created our custom buttons. And one of the benefits of creating your own custom widgets that you can reuse over and over again is the fact that with animation you don't have to create a unique animation for every single item. Instead we just do it in one place, and that is on the custom button itself. So let's go over to the custom button, set up animation on here for when we hover and unhover our object. And what we're going to do here is we're going to animate this little red, white box here. So how does animation work in a widget? Well, at the bottom of the screen in the designer view, you'll see animations as a tab. You can click on this and we're going to dock it using the dock in layout option. So therefore it's always on the screen. And in animations, we can add an animation to our list first of all. At the moment it's empty, so let's click on animation and we'll call this one hovered. And when you click on it, you may get this selected hovered thing if you're using 5.3 or above, but you may find it not the case in your older version. So don't fret if you don't see that blue outline. It's there just to show you which way you're working in. So the way this works is inside the animation, you can add what we call tracks, and the tracks determine what should be animated. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to animate our little white box here to fade in and fade out, as well as zoom and as well as slide in and slide out. So let's talk about sliding in and sliding out. The first thing we want to do is add a track for the button box itself. So with it selected, we go to the border on the track and you will add the border for us. This refers to this border here. So it's easier to select it first and then go to the track to add the track for it. Otherwise, you can just go to all name widgets and just pick one from the list. Okay, and on this track here, you can add other tracks that are specific to this border. In this case, we're going to change its transform. So where is it currently being rendered? So on the right hand side, you click the little plus button and you'll find here, we've got the transform. We're going to choose this. You'll see now the transform track has appeared. And it's added a keyframe for us. So we expand this open again. You'll see translation, rotation, scale, and shear. We're just right about the translation. So we're going to click on translation. And we're going to go make sure we're in the starting point of 0. And X coordinate here, we're going to move to the left. So I'm going to click on here and drag it out to the left. And you'll see it moves up top as well. Let's put it to minus 35. When you're happy with that, we're going to add a key for this. Now you can do that with just the enter key. If you're on the graph, that is. Oh, it has done it. Sorry. Yeah. Go from after I say hit enter key. Or you can hit a little plus bar icon in the center between these arrows here. And we're going to move this along, not too far, just a short distance, because with these types of animations, you want them to be very quick. You don't want them to linger. So we're going to go just like a couple of frames ahead at 0.1 seconds. We're going to slide it in 0. So I'm going to go to X here and just type in 0. And you should see, if I zoom in, the graph has now added 2 points. We've got a start point and end point for our translation in the X. And if I drag my slider back and forth, you can see it moving. Okay. That's the first one. The second one is I want it to add it fade in from nothing. So again, going to set the border, go to the new track, and in there you'll see render opacity. I'll choose this. Make sure I play ahead at that start. And you'll see now render opacity is part of the border track. We're going to start that out at 0. So move the playhead at the start to 0 and type in 0. And you're really now invisible. And then move it at the end. Mine's already done it, but you just go at the end and hit 1 at the end to make it visible. So you've got this fade in button effect. There we go. Now, when you're doing this, down in the track area, I'll zoom out again. Oh no, it's fine. It's not zoomed out. Yeah, it depends on what version you're using. This red line, you want to make sure is at the end of your animation, not over here off the side of the screen. So you might have to zoom in and zoom out to grab it and put it back in. Looks like in 5.3 this auto adjusts, but yeah, do be aware that you want to manipulate where the end of the animation ends here. Okay, that's a very basic start to this. So we're going to hit compile. And we're going to make sure we click out of selected hover mode. And the way you do that is just select off your animation down here. So click anywhere down here and it will hide the animation here. Now I want this by default to be hidden and to the side. So it starts off like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with it not in selected animation mode. So make sure you click outside of here. This is why that blue box is really cool little addition they made in 5.3. Makes it a lot clearer to understand whether or not you are in animation mode or just editing mode. So you want to be in editing mode. And we're going to go down to its settings on the right here. And we'll find the render opacity. And we're going to change that to 0. We're also going to change the render translation to -35. So it matches the start of our animation frame. Hit compile and save that. Okay, so let's go to the graph. And over here, we've got various different things going on. But we want to mess about the hovered and unhovered. So on the hovered, not only are we calling the hovered event, but we're also going to play that animation forwards. So now on the left-hand side, you'll see an animation section in your variables. Click on this, and you'll see our hovered animation. We'll get that. And then from here, we can do play animation. You get a few options. We want to choose play animation forwards. Plug that in, like so. And then on unhovered, we want to play the animation backwards. So we're going to drag out that hovered again. And we'll do play animation reverse. And save. Excellent. Okay. We're looking good there. So now what should happen is we should see these all animate with our mouse inside the game. And we've only done it to one of them. So it's got it an instance. They all copy that same behavior. As you can see here, they're all hiding that little block to start off with. So let's make it so we can actually use this with our mouse. I'm going to go to the graph. And we're going to go on the construct event, get player controller. And we're going to do set input mode to UI only, as well as from the player controller, set show mouse cursor. And we'll turn that to be true. So now if I play the game and hover my mouse over one of the options, you'll see we're now fading in, moving in that button effect. And it's quite a nice little identifier for players to see what they're currently focused on. So one final touch we're going to add to this is a sound effect for each of the button hovers. So I'm going to click on the button part of my custom button. And on the right hand side, you'll see in the appearance section style, a press sound effect and a hovered sound effect. We're going to choose the hovered sound effect. Click on this down arrow and we'll just search for a click and we'll just use, I don't know, let's click on button. Sure. Hit compile. So I don't know what this sound is like. Let's have a look actually. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. So we want that clicked on button on hovered. Now that's all we've got to do. Don't have to do anything else. And if I go push play, there we have it. So there we have it. We can now animate our buttons with a nice mouse over effect and unhover as well. However, in the next episode, we're going to go through a particular problem that people have with UMG, and that is using controller support. So this is going to be part of many different videos we do with controller support and UMG. And this episode, we're going to go through how to do that with the current menu that we've just designed. So if you want to watch the next episode right now, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Lady. We can find that video plus many others from just $1 a month. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members for the continued support in the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.